Hi, this is Bill for Sparky Channel. Today I'm going to show you how to install and program a Leviton IPS02 Occupancy sensor switch. Before starting this project, be sure to turn the circuit breaker that controls this light and switch off. Here's the old switch that I'm going to change out to the new occupancy sensing switch. This is a good time to double check with a voltage sensor to make sure that the electricity is off in this switch box. Now, after you've turned the circuit breaker off and you've double checked to make sure the circuit breaker is off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put wire nuts on all the wires, and then I'm going to temporarily turn the circuit breaker back on, and I need to find what is called the line wire. I have the electricity turned back on now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my fluke voltage detector and I'm going to test the wires and find out which one is hot. See, the black wire is hot, the white wire isn't, and the ground wire isn't. The black wire that is beeping is called the line wire. You need to know which one is the line wire to install an occupancy sensor switch. Now I have turned the circuit breaker back off, and I'm going to use my fluke voltage detector to make sure, to double check, to make sure that the electricity is off. And you see, it is definitely off. Now here is the Leviton IPS02. And notice there's a red screw on one side. That is for your load. That's the load wire. On the other side, we have a black screw. That is for your line wire. And a green screw, which is for your ground. Now, with the electricity off, we're going to take the wire nuts off of the wires and hook up the occupancy sensor switch. My first move will be to hook up the ground wire. You notice on this particular switch, you don't need to go around the screw. They have a spot to go straight in, and then the screw clamps down on the wire. An excellent system, good solid connection. Next, I'll be hooking up the load wire. The load wire is the white wire. Now, that's not a neutral wire, it's a load wire. It's the wire that actually goes to the light, which is the load of this switch. This house was built in 1958, and in 1958 they would just run a cable with the neutral and the hot wire down to the switch, and that's called a switch loop. Those are the only two wires they ran to the switch loop. I believe that green ground wire was added later. So that's the way they did it, and that's why there's no neutral in this box. After making a good solid connection of the load wire on the red screw, we're going to work on the hot wire. That's the line wire. That's the one that goes to the black screw. Remember, we tested that out with the fluke voltage detector. So you just put that right under the clamp of the black screw. Here I'm using my Klein 6-inch needle nose pliers to make the job a little easier. It's just right under the clamp system there, and you tighten it down. Now tighten down the screws that fasten the switch to the box. The next thing we're going to do is program the IPS02. And to do this, you take off the plastic cover. You pull it from the bottom, and it has 4 little pegs that go in the holes, and it comes right out. Notice there are 2 plastic dials. The first one here on the left is your time selector. This is the amount of time that you would like your light to stay on after people have left the room. The 0 setting is for 30 seconds. The 1 setting is for 5 minutes. The 2 setting is for 15 minutes. And the 3 setting is for half an hour. The dial on the right is the light level adjustment. It goes from 0 to 3. 3 is the most sensitive. If you put it on 3, your light will come on with the least amount of darkness. If you put it on 1, it will come on with the most amount of darkness. In other words, it's much more sensitive if you put it at number 3. The 0 setting on the right side is the vacancy sensor setting. If you set it to that setting, you must then turn on your light manually. You have to turn the switch on manually, and then it will go off after people have left the room in the prescribed amount of time that you have told it to on the left-hand dial. After you have set the dials to your liking, you then put the switch cover back on. You see there's 2 prongs that go in the holes there on the bottom, and there's 2 prongs that go in holes at the top as well. So take it and put the bottom part on first. It snaps right in. For the wall plate, I'm going to use the Cooper Wiring Devices screwless wall plate. The screwless wall plate comes in 2 pieces. You have to make sure and put the top portion at the top, and there's 2 very short screws that fasten to the device. Once you have the first part secured to the switch, take the finished part, making sure and have the top part pointing towards the top. Now you take the finished piece and just snap it into place. To turn on the switch manually, just press the paddle once for on and once for off. Now your occupancy sensor switch is ready to turn on when it sees motion, and it's ready to turn off at a prescribed amount of time. In my video description, I'll put links for the Leviton IPS02 Occupancy sensor switch, for the Fluke voltage detector, and I'll put links for a selection of screwless wall plates. Thank you. I hope this video was of help.